Shalom. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Barakatham. Double honors to elders and apostles of Great Millstone. It's Brother Yatazadak back once again with another live lesson. As always, giving all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Barakah Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Today we're going to go into Jeremiah chapter 13, going to the Hebrew. So Lord willing, you're edified, giving all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Barakah Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the 144,000, right? And the great multitude that will be delivered out of America, Babylon the Great. Right? We are in the latter days. The Most High God's name is Yahweh. It's not Jehovah. It's not Yahuwah. It's Yahweh. Ba'ashem means in the name. In the ancient Hebrew tongue, Yahushai, Hamashayak, is who you call Jesus Christ. It's not Yeshua, not Yahushua, Yahushai, Hamashayak. Jesus is a form of that name in the Greek, right? But when you read the Old Testament, right, it says Joshua, right? But then you read in the book of Acts, it mentions Joshua, but he's known as Jesus, right? So like the book of Proverbs say, what is his name? What is his son's name? If thou canst tell, right? So that's what the scriptures is about, right? Diligence, right? Making your call and election sure, right? Seeking the Most High God while he still may be found, right? Before the day of his wrath, which is going to come in the form of what? Martial law, FEMA camps, World War III, world economic collapse, universal basic income, many devices come into the world like Prophet Ezra spoke about, right? Revelation 13 and 16 speaks about the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, right? We are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, 12 tribes of Israel, which consists of you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. You have some of us that look like other nations. That is a mystery of the Gentiles, right? Is that these Gentiles are Israelite foreigners, and we were always Israelite foreigners, right? But the mystery of the Gentiles is that we look like other nations as well because we took wives of the other nations in times past. But when you read in the New Testament about the Gentiles, that's talking about our people that remained in the Holy Land, which was the Southern Kingdom, which were the Jews, which are the Judites, which are the so-called African Americans, the Levites, which are the Haitians, the Simeonites, which are the Dominicans, the Benjamites, which are the West Indians. And you had some of the Northern Kingdom, which are the so-called Hispanic tribes, a small remnant that was still amongst them, but as a whole, they were on the Western world, the Western part of the world. Second Esdras chapter, was that 15, right? Because the Lord cast away the Northern Kingdom, they went to the Assyrian captivity. Then the Lord put in the spirit of the Northern tribe to come to the Americas, right? The Lord leading the way. But those Gentiles that you read about in the New Testament, those were Israelite foreigners. It was not another nation, despite popular belief, right? They were not other nations. It was of the same nation of Israel, but that had fallen to the ways of the Greeks and the Romans, Salakia, which 200 years before that, before Yahushua's time, Paul the Apostle's time, you have a man named Antiochus Epiphanes, which was the Edomite, right? Hellenized the known world, starting with Alexander the Great, really. Right, so this was when there was a great persecution, right? So fast forward 200 years later, you have the time of the New Testament, and these were Israelites that were persecuted and they fell out of the manners, ways, and customs of their forefathers, right? But it was of the same seed of Jacob. Jacob, his name was changed to Israel, but anyways, right? Lord willing, you're ratified. You know, I don't want to make these introductions too long, but I feel it's necessary, right? So you can get the proper idea of the doctrine that we're teaching. We're not teaching Catholicism. Catholicism, when you look at that and look up that word, that means universalism, right? Christianity is a religion created by man, by the so-called white man. White Jesus, we're not preaching to you white Jesus, right? Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, who you call Jesus Christ in ignorance, was the so-called black man of the tribe of Judah, the real Jews, right? And right, so this is the word that the Lord has put in our mouth, right, to prophesy mainly for the elect, which are the remnant of you Israelites. 2/3 of you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Americans will be coerced into taking the RFID chip in these latter days, in these last days, right? And all hell is going to break loose, and the Most High is going to deliver his remnant, and that's it. Plain and simple, right? But anyways, let's get right into it. This is Jeremiah 13:1, right? The header of this chapter is the ruined waistband, right? Not waistman, waistband, right? Throw a little joke in there, you know. Gotta throw some salt in there, right? Jeremiah 13:1 says, Salakia, thus saith the Lord, thus has said the Lord unto me, go and get unto thee a girdle, which that word quana actually means to possess. Ma quana, sometimes that's used in the sense of cattle or possessions, right? But there's another way to say to take, right? Take unto thee a girdle of linen, pashath, which that word actually means flax, right? Flax, linen. It's really going into how do you say it? Like it says down here, Salakia. Basically, it's going into fibrous material, right? Let's look that up real quick. Fibrous material. Right, which in the ancient days it was made out of flax, right? Right, let's look up that word for linen. So that pashath means flax. Linen would be sadian, which actually means fine linen. Sha'at nas, it's talking about mixed fibers, mixed garments, right? Shash would be cotton. Batazah, that's the word for linen. But anyways, so it says, take a girdle unto thee, a girdle of flax, and place it upon your loins, and in water do not cause it to enter, right? As in, do not put it in water. Ka amar Yahweh aliyah halak wa kwanyath laka azar bashathium wa shamath wa al matanyaka wa bamayim la'a tha ba'awa tha ba'awa. It's like, means lakia. Tha ba'awa. Verse 2 says, I took into the girdle according to the word of the Lord, and I placed it upon my loins. Wa'akwana atha ha'azar kadabar Yahweh wa asham al matanya. Verse 13. Salakia, verse 3. Verse 3 says, and it came to pass the word of the Lord unto me the second time to say, Wa Yahaya Dabar Yahweh Aliyah Shanyath La Amar. Take unto the girdle which thou hast taken, which is upon your loins, and arise, thou, or Salakia, and rise and go to Euphrates, right, and bury it there in the hole of the rock, which reads Kwach Atha Ha Azar Ashar Kwanyath Ashar Al Matanyaka Wakwam Laka Partha Wa Tamanawa Sham Ba Nakyak Hasalai. Taman means to bury, right? Nakyak means in a hole. Let's look at the root. Actually, there's no root. Nakak, Nakwa is the root, which is similar to the root bakwak, meaning to pour, right? Or nakwab, meaning to hollow out, meaning a hole, a cleft, right? So these are cognates, right? Let's see if we can just type that. Hole. Let's see what we can get. Got nakwab. Naqabath. Salakia. Which reminds me of the word kwai kwai, which means mark, which means an incision, right? Anyways, I'm not going to go into all that right now. Let's look at some of the precepts. Okay, holes. Verse 5 says, "And I went and I buried it in Euphrates, according to which I commanded the Lord unto me. Wa alaka wa tamanawa ba parath ka ashar taza'a Yahweh ataya." Verse 6 says, "And it came to pass from after the end of days many," which makwataza literally means of an end, right? Or of a cutting off, meaning from right, from one end. Because what do you do with a, say you're sewing, right? You cut off the string from one end to another, right? So it says, "And it came to pass after the end of days many, and he said the Lord unto me, Rise, go to Euphrates, and take from there unto the girdle, which I have commanded unto thee, to bury there." Salakia. To bury there, which reads, "Wa Yahaya Makwatazah Yam Yam Rabiam Waya Amar Yahweh Aliyah Kwam Laka Paratha Wakwach Masham Atha Ha Azar Ashar Tazayat Yaka La Taman Wa Shum." Verse 7 reads, "And I went to Euphrates, and I digged, and I took unto the girdle from the place which I buried it there, and behold, it was marred or destroyed." And when you say behold, that actually sometimes it means there or here, right? Because this is a in person, you would say, when you say behold, you're kind of putting your hands, pointing your hands in that direction. Like, look at this, you know. So you can read it as, and there it was destroyed or marred, right? But just to keep it simple, sometimes you might need to use it in that way. But here it's fine because it gets the point across. So it says, and behold, it was rent, the girdle, it was not profitable unto all, right? As in, it was not profitable for anybody to use. Tazalach, right, means, let's look at the Strong's H 6743, to go over or through, to attack, fall upon, to prosper, to succeed. Which you can see, these are cognates. Like shalach, it means to go forth. Tazalach is sort of in that sense, because alach, which is Chaldaic, which is Syriac, zalach, to flow, to pour out. Right, you can look at the Arabic as well. Right, you see it says, okay, it doesn't really say anything. To push forward, right? So let's move on. Which reminds me of that word, or actually, no, that's not it. So it reads, Wa'a laka paratha, Wa'a kapar, Wa'a kwach, Atha ha azar man, ha makwam, ashar, tamanath yawa, shama, wahana, nashachath, ha azar, la'a, yatazalach, lakal. Verse 8 says, and it came to pass the word of the Lord unto me to say, Wa Yahaya Dabar Yahweh Aliyah La Amar. And here's a point of that similitude that the Lord caused Jeremiah the prophet to perform, right? Because I went over it in previous breakdowns that that's what the prophets were. They were there's a thing called prop comedy with props involved, and or not comedy, not just comedy, but drama, right? Plays that include props, right? You have what's called interpretive dance and other things which doesn't necessarily have to do with this, but it paints the idea of the job of the prophets. It gives you an idea, it paints a picture of what the prophets were about, right? Sometimes they spoke the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Sometimes they used similitudes. They spoke in parables at times, right? Sometimes the prophets saw visions that they couldn't explain, and they wrote it down anyways, right? Which that's in the book of the prophet Hosea, which the Lord said, I've slain thee with the words of the mouth of the prophets, right? Because the prophets always spoke admonition. They always spoke what the Lord said to speak, right? And the Lord said, by the ministry of the prophets, I've spoken unto thee in similitudes, right? So on and so forth. All right. But there's a point of the girdle that was taken away, placed in Euphrates, and marred, and visited after many days, and it was marred. So verse 9 says, thus saith the Lord, according to thus manner, right? Which is really just says, according to thus, which is another way to say, according to this, or according to thus manner. But I just keep it at according to thus, because you want it to stick, right? You want each Hebrew word, just like the letter, to have its own identity, right? That's part of the living language, right? That's why it's called the living language, right? According to thus, if you would look at the symbols, it would actually mean palm breath, right? Just like I mentioned earlier, when you're using hand gestures, and you're pointing to a thing, right? I shall mar unto the pride of Judah and unto the pride of Jerusalem great, as in their great pride, in which they have not followed the things that he had commanded in times past. So it says, Ka Amar Yahweh, Ka Ashakyath, Atha Ga'an, Yahweh Wa Atha Ga'an, Yerushalayim Harab. Verse 10. Verse 10 says, the people this evil refuse to hear unto my words, walking in perverseness, in the perverseness of their heart, and they go after gods others to serve them and to worship them, and to worship unto them, and it shall become or Salakia, and shall become like unto the girdle this, which shall not prosper at all, or for all, or unto all. Which reads Ha'im, Hazah, Harai, Ha, Ma'anyam, La Shemai, Athad, Dabaryah, Ha Halakim, Ba, Sharath, Labom, Wayalakwa, Akaryah, Alahayim, Akaryim, La Ibadam, Wala Ha Shat Shat Shatakath, Laham, Wa Yahaya, Ka Azar, Azah, Ashar, La'ah, Yatazalach, Lakal. Right? That's why Ezekiel was given that vision, right? The dead bones, Ezekiel chapter 37, right? And the dry bones in the valley, the valley of bones, which Ezekiel actually saw. Ezekiel saw a lot of things, right? Like when the Lord said to dig through the temple and dig deeper into the temple, right? That's talking about the Lord showing us Jake's iniquities, and we come into the realization that somebody has to say something, which is starting with the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, right? And those that are speaking the 100% truth, right? Which you'll know, but you'll know them by the fruits. It's not you don't got to be a genius to know when someone's being genuine, right? Just like these other camps are sold out. It's easy to spot the sellout, because Jake is good at that. Jake is good at Jake has a good BS detector, you know. So it says, because according to which it cleaveth a girdle unto the loins of man, so I shall cause to cleave unto me, unto all the house of Israel, unto all the house of Judah, saith the Lord, to become unto me for a people, and for a name, and for a praise, and for comeliness. And they did not hear, right? Because that's what the Lord said. Deuteronomy chapter 28. If you do not hearken, then I'm going to put the curses on you, right? You're going to have your evil eye towards your brother. You're going to have particular living conditions you're going to be in. You know, not necessarily now, because Jake has more opportunity now. Jake is, I'm not saying Jake is down bad as a whole, because there's Jakes that are doctors, you know, they go to school and, because Jake is smart. But, right, in general, Jake has to deal with these things because, um, right, because as a whole, we're destroyed for lack of knowledge because we don't know this is America, Babylon the Great. We don't know our heritage, right? There's no, like they say, like the other camps say, there's no land called brown, there's no land called black, right? All the nations have gods that look like them. What about the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American God, right? But no, we're not allowed to do that. It's frowned upon when we say Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, when we prophesy, when we call out these false camps, right? When we try to reach Jake, because we do it in many ways, like it says in the book of St. Jude, to hate the garment that's spotted, and save some by fear, save some with words of wisdom, you know. And when it says garment spotted, we that's talking about these other camps that their doctrine has, that they got spots in them because they're introducing wayward doctrines. They're not speaking the right thing, you know. But anyways, so that's what the Lord said. The promises, right? Like we read in the previous chapters, the Lord said, "Cursed be the man that does not perform this covenant, to hear unto my words." Right? Because that's what the Lord did. He introduced you to the law, put him in the Holy Land, you know, and we went off, you know, as a whole. So it reads Kaya, Salaki, Ka Ashar, Yadabak, Ha Azar, Al Matanya, Ayash, Khan, Hadabak Daya, Alya, Ta Kal Bayath, Yasha Allah, Wa Ata Kal Bayath, Yahawada, Naam Yahawah, Lahayatha, Laya, La'aim, Walasham, Wala, Tahala, Wala, Ta Pa'arath, Wala'a, Shamaywa, you know? So it's particular of these chapters, we can pretty much fly through them because it's not always super deep, like I say, you know? Paul the Apostle spoke about what? That he told the faithful, right? The hopeful elect, which we call ourselves the hopeful elect, to covet to right, the greater gifts, which is to prophesy, right? Right, meaning to speak what is written according to what the prophets spoke about, right? So it's not our words, right? It's not. It's the words of the prophets, which were divinely inspired by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? We're just a mouthpiece. We're just right, unprofitable servants, right? All we are, all we are is a vessel, right? At the end of the day, those that are right doing the work, right, laboring in this truth, right? Uh, so the next header, the header of the next part of this chapter is captivity threatened. Jeremiah 13:2, which says, "And thou shalt say unto them, unto the word this, or Salaki, and thou shalt speak unto them unto the word this," right? That sa means oh, Satan's trying to hinder the word. Thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, all bottles shall be filled with wine, and they shall say unto thee, surely do we not know, because all bottles shall be filled with wine, right? That word for bottle is nabal, which means skin bag for liquids. Sometimes it means corpse, right? An instrument of music, right? It's like another way to say skin, but the word for skin is iwar, right? Now, what does that mean? That means that right, that Jake knew that their latter end was coming. The Babylonians, right? Um, which is why it says in the next verse that the Lord will fill all of them with drunkenness. Drunkenness sometimes mean that you're going off as far as that you're in other philosophies, right? Because wine is a doctrine, right? When you're drunk off wine, you could be drunk off other philosophies. But in this case, right, when the Lord said, "I'll fill all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with drunkenness," meaning they're not going to know what to do. They know that the Babylonians are coming, but they're not going to know what to do when that time comes. They're going to be like drunken men, just staggering and caught by surprise. Not by surprise, because that's why Jake said, "Do we not certainly know that every bottle shall be filled with wine?" It's like when you say, it's like Jake was basically saying, "F it, the Babylon, we're gonna be destroyed anyways. Let's just continue until the Lord kicks us out." You know. So it says, "Wa Amarath Aliyahum Atha Hadabar Hazah Ka Amar Yahweh Allahaya Yasha'ala, Kal Nabal, Ya Mala'a, Yayan, Wa Marwa, Aliyaka, Hayadai, La'a, Nadai, Kaya, Kal Nabal, Ya Mala'a, Yayan. You know? So we're not always gonna, go into super deep, you know, right? Particular chapters you can just kind of we can touch on the history, but you know, only when it's absolutely necessary. I try to, right, because I want to keep these videos comprehensive, because if we get into history and okay, let's find every single precept that has to do with this, your head's going to spin, and that understanding is not going to stick. That's why we go deeper when we're dealing with chapters that deal with future prophecy, right? But we're not going to pull every single precept, right? Every single video, every single chapter. All right? Verse 13 says, "And thou shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will fill unto all the inhabitants of the land this, and unto all the kings that dwell unto David upon his throne, that dwell for David upon his throne, and unto all the priests, and unto all the prophets, and unto all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with drunkenness," which reads, Wa Amarath al Yaham, Ka Amar Yahweh, Hanaya Ma Mala'a, Atha Kal Yashabya, Ha Ratazah, Ha Za'ath, Wa Atha, Ha Malakium, Ha Yashabium, La Dawad, Al Kasa'awa, Wa Atha Ha Kahanyum, Wa Atha Nabya'ayim, Wa Atha Kal Yashabya, Yerushalayim, Shakaran. Right? Verse 14 says, "And I will scatter them," because that word napatazah actually means to scatter, it doesn't mean to dash. "And I will scatter them, a man unto towards his brethren, and the fathers and the sons together, saith the Lord. And I will not have compassion, and I will not pity, and I will not have mercy from destroying them." Woo! And that's part of the curses, you know? So what happened in the siege, which was prophesied? The women ate their babies. Yeah, Jake, just being destroyed, you know? So it says, Wana patazathium ayash al ach yawa waha abath waha banyum yachadwa na'an yahawo la Akamal, Wala'a, Akas, Wala'a, Araham, Maha, Shakyatham. Verse 15 says, Hear and give ear unto, or Salaki, do not be proud. Hear and give ear. Do not be proud, because the Lord has spoken. Man, Jake must have been pissed and scared at the same time, or upset. You know, like damn, the Lord, shit, Salakia, the Lord has spoken. You know, Shemai Wa Ha, Shemai Wa Waha Azianawo Al, or Salakia Azian Wa Al Thagabawa Kaya Yahweh Dabar. Verse 16. Slack is, bear with me 1 second. I'm trying to get situated. All right. Slakia. All right. Verse 16 says, Place unto the Lord your God honor uh, before the darkness and before it is smitten. Your feet upon the mountains of dusk, because that in the shop it means dusk. And you shall hope for light, and it shall be turned onto shadows, as in darkness, or Salaki shadows, which means it's another way to say shadow of death. And it shall be made, because Shayat and Shayam has the same meaning, to place or to make, right? To give. Gross darkness, or Paul, which means gloominess, gloom. reads Thanwa La Yahweh Allahayakam Kabad Bataram Yakashak Wa Bataram Yatha Nagapwa Regal Yakum Al Harya Nashap Wa Kwayathum La Awar Wa Shema La Tazalamath Wa Shayath La Arpal. Verse 17. And if thou dost not hear in the secret places, on account of in the secret places, thou shalt weep. My soul from before pride, right? As in on account of your pride, and surely tears, or salaka, and sore tears, and they shall run down my eyes with tears, because it is taken captive the drove of the Lord. It's in the flock of the Lord. Right, so kind of like you hear in the world where they say, this hurts me more than, or this is gonna hurt me more than it hurts you. You know, wa'aim la'a ta shemayu bama satharium tabaka napashya mapanya gawa wa damai thadamai wa tharad ayanya damaya kaya nashaba idor Yahweh. Verse 18 says, say unto the king and to the mistress, because kabiara means mistress or consort. Yeah, mistress, right? Because queen, when you go into that word, it actually means, has negative connotations. It literally means, the origin, it means like a whore or prostitute. You know, if you don't know, then now you know. Say unto the king and to the mistress, be humbled, right? Sit, because it shall come down your principalities, the wreath of your comeliness, as in the crown of your glory, right? And that's what Jake says in the world. You know, you need to sit down. You know, so it reads Amar la Malak Wala Gabiara Ha Shap Yalwa Shabwa Kaya Yarad Mara Ashath Yakum Itarath Tha Pa'arath come. verse 18, Salakia, verse 19 says, the cities of the south shall be shut up, shut out, because that word cigar means either to shut out or shut in. Shall be shut out, as in they're not going to be accessible from the outside, right? There will be none to open it. He shall be carried away, Judah. Galath actually means to remove. He shall be removed, Judah. Wholly removed. Completely, you know? Arya, Hanagab, Sagarwa, Wa Ayan, Patach, Hagalath, Yahawada, Kala, Hagalath, Shalomyim. So shalom means peace. It also means to pay, and it also means complete, right? Something completed. Verse 20 says, lift up your eyes and see what cometh from the north. Where is the drove that has been given unto thee, the flock of your comeliness, right? Because that's what happened when Jake got carried away, right? Basically, that's Jeremiah speaking that beforehand, before it happens. Telling Jake, the Lord's gonna, get you out of here. All right. Sha'awa ayan yakum, wa ra'awa, ha ba'ayim, ma tazapan, aya ha idar, nathan, laka, tazaan, ta parathka. Verse 21. What wilt thou say? Because he shall visit upon thee and unto those which thou hast taught, thou over thee, upon thee, to be chieftains, heads, shall not pains, because cabal means to bind, shall not pains take hold unto thee, like unto a woman that bringeth forth, as travaileth, as in that travaileth, which reads ma tha amarya kaya yapaquad al yaka wa atha lamadath atham al yaka alapium ha ra'ash hala'a kabalyum ya chazka kamwa ashath ladah. Verse 22, and because thou shalt say in your heart, why are these things, or why is it called these things upon the multitude of your iniquities, right? It is removed your skirt. It is there's violence unto your heels, right? As in I'm gonna cause the Babylonians to get on that. You know what? On that ASS. Skirts being uncovered mean right because in the ancient world you were you can only uncover a woman's skirt if she was a damsel, right? And if you were ready to to commit, and have relations, right? So the skirts being right, this is in a negative sense because the Lord said your skirts are going to be discovered, right? Meaning you're in trouble, you know. It reads Wa Kaya Tha Amarya Balababka Madai Kwara Naya Alha Barab Awanka Nagalwa Shalyaka Na Hamaswa Aikwabyaka. Verse 23. Can he turn over the Cushite into his skin, or the leopard his spots? Which that word chabar actually means fellow, right? So that would actually mean, and the leopard his associates, right? His association, right? Because leopards, they run in packs. Hyenas run in packs, right? The Ethiopian, right? The Cushites, they were known for having fierce, right? Which Ka'ash or Kawash is a play on words. It actually like it means Ka'ash, like fire. Because when you look at these Cushites, they got these very stern looks, like fire, you know. And there's other reasons why they're called Kush, Kawash, right? So it says, and even thou that is able to do good, right, taught to do evil, right? Because Jake can do better if they knew better, but they don't know better because the Lord cast them away, right? Except the remnant. Now we know, you know, who's the enemy. Psalms 83, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the nations, right? The Moabites, the Ammonites, right? The Hamites, the Ishmaelites, right? The the Japites, right? Which are the Polynesians, Hawaiians, Samoans, you know? The Path, the Path, which reads Ha Yahapak Kawashia Arwa Wa Namar Habar Barath Yawa Gum Atham Takalwa Laha Yatyab Lamadya Harai. So Jake is wicked too. Jake is going off. Verse 24, and I will scatter them like the stubble that passeth away unto the wind of the wilderness. Woo! That's tough. Which reads, Wa'a Payatazam Kakwash Ibar Laraka Madabar. Verse 25, this is thy lot. This is your lot. A portion of your measures from me, saith the Lord, which thou hast forgotten unto me, and hast trusted in lies or in falsehood. Which reads, Za Garalka Manath Madyaka Ma'athia Na'am Yahweh Ashar Shakachath Salakia Athaya Watha Batakia Bashquar. Man, this chapter is heavy. And even I will cause to be discovered. Let's look at that word. Hashab means to make bare. Your skirt upon your face, and it shall be seen your lightness. You know, that's another way to say shame. So that's why it says your skirts will be made bare upon your face. You know, that's a form of shame. You know, like they have in particular comedy shows. You know, they got comedy shows that goes into shame, being ashamed or being shamed. You know, which reads Wagam Anya Hashab Taya Shalyaka Al Panyaka Wana Ra'a Kwalanka. Verse 27 says, your adulteries and your names, the devices of your whoredoms, which were the idols that Jake bowed to, right? Worshipping other gods, right? Of your whoredom on account of Salakia. Upon the hills, in the fields, I have seen your detestable things. Woe unto thee, Jerusalem, O Jerusalem! Thou art not made pure, as in made clean, because tahar means to pure, right? Afterwards, uh, um, even until when, or yeah, even until when, because Mathia means until what time, Ad means even. So we're literally read what time even, as in even until when, even until what time, which reads Na'ab Yaka Wama Tazahalath Yaka Zamath Zanathka Al Gabayeth Bashada Ra'ayathaya Shikwatazayaka Awaya Laka Yerushalayim La'a Thataharya Akarya Matya Ad. Right, so with that, this is Jeremiah chapter 13, going to the Hebrew. It's Brother Yatazadak, hero of Israel. And as always, Lord willing, you were edified, given all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ruka Kudash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Kwam Yasha'Allah, Abad Babal, Shalom. Next video coming up soon. Shalom.